Grand rising, my kings and queens from Africa and across the ocean.
But you need to understand, you don't run America no more.
Everyone see it.
All y'all people is all the same. That's what y'all teach in your house. But black people don't teach that hate in our house.
Black people don't teach hate in their houses.
You need to understand that. Yeah, we don't teach hate in our house. Y'all teach hate in y'all house. Because I'm not a slave. I never came from Africa. I'm an indigenous person to this country. You shut up. Let me tell you instead of what your mama taught you. Let me tell you the truth. I'm the queen in this motherfucker. You understand me? You came from my color. Black make every color. You understand me? Black make every. Your people are going extinct. And that's why you're mad. You can't procreate. That's what eugenics was about.
Today, I'm diving into something deep, into something powerful. There's a video I came across it of a black American lady. They were on a plane and she was facing this white lady. I think there's something that came through them or between them. This black lady was responding to this white Karen. And I'm going to expand words of this black woman who stood her ground against the so-called Karen. And in her words, I find very truth that the world has been running away from. Now, she told the Karen that black people don't teach hate in their houses. She told this white lady that you, as white people, you came from black people. That black makes every color. And these words are more than just a clapback. They are a mirror of history, science, and truth. My beautiful people, I'm going to break this down. But first of all, I want you to watch this clip of history about because it's just aligning with the video we have watched of this of this black lady. And then we come back with more commentary because I have a lot to say about this clip.
A comment on YouTube, and I'm going to start responding to as many as I can. Made the comment about how racism is taught in our homes. And it is. It's extremely true. My father grew up in a place called Terre Haute, Indiana. Southwest part of Indiana. Very racist part of the country. Very white, very rural, very white Christian nationalist. His dad and his dad, all the same. All white nationalists. It's just the way it is back there. And when I grew up, I heard a lot of nasty words. The N-word. A lot of stuff that I can't repeat. I'm not going to repeat because it's inappropriate. Let's just say it was part of my childhood. And many years later, when I got married, I had said something. And this person, she had got offended by it. And I was dumbfounded. I had no idea. And she explained to me how this phrase was an anti-Semitic remark. I was shocked. 20-something years later, I still remember that to this day, how shocked she was that I said it. And I've never said it since, obviously. But when you grow up in a home like that, it's normalized. And there's a lot of these people, especially the MAGA, the white supremacists, that was their childhood. And they saw it from their uncles and their great uncles and their dads and their grandparents and their great grandparents and their photo albums and the censuses where it had like people and then non-white people on censuses where it had black people as property on wills. It's all they knew. But it's also a choice. There's a story I heard a long time ago about two brothers that grew up in the same home. One of them was very abusive. He was an alcoholic and he beat his family. And the other brother was very successful, had a loving marriage, and was a great dad. And this reporter just couldn't figure out how did he turn out this way? I mean, they grew up in the exact same home. It doesn't make any sense. So she did an investigation on it. Interviewed them both. She asked the first brother, how did you turn out this way? Why are you so abusive and everything? And he said, well, my dad was an alcoholic and he used to beat us all the time. And she went to the other brother, the brother that was successful and had a healthy marriage and was a good dad. He said, how did you turn out this way? And he said, my dad was an alcoholic and he used to beat us all the time. One brother used his childhood as a stumbling block and the other as a stepping stone. And I chose, as I became older, to use it as a stepping stone. It's a choice. When I was older in life, well, older, I'm 48 now, a couple years ago, as I was older from a child, my dad was having heart surgery. You know, you don't know how those are going to go. So I went out there and we had discussed his racist comments, his anti-Semitic remarks growing up. And I said, I can't believe you use that kind of language around me. What kind of person does that? And he said, that's the way that my dad raised me. And I said, you know what? You're, 67 years old. When are you going to grow up and be a real man and take responsibility for your actions? Your dad's been dead for 20 years. He's 6 feet out of the ground, and you're still blaming your dead daddy for who you are today. And the difference between you and me is that I've chosen a different path. I've chosen not to be like you. And you've chosen to continue to be like your dad. How we grew up, we can't change. We can't change the hand that we're dealt. We can't help our childhood. But we can change course. We can choose a better path. And I hope that that story helps. Because we don't have to be this way personally or as a country. And I'm going to keep telling these stories because the only way that racism is going to end in this country, if white dudes like me keep telling these stories, because we're the ones that benefited from this country since 1787, and we're the ones that benefited from us now. And we have to be better. I can't change the way that things have been, but I can sure as hell promise you that I'm going to do whatever I can with as many followers or as little followers as I have, even if it's one, to speak up for what's right.
My people, I encourage all of you to share this video with any beautiful black children that you know, as I share all the facts that reveal that we are in fact the first people, the first civilization, the first explorers, which is why our ancestors' bones have been found all over the world, including North and South America, thousands of years before anyone else. This information comes from the research of the top archaeologists in the world. Facts. The age of the oldest fossils in Eastern Africa, widely recognized as representing our species, Homo sapiens, has long been uncertain. But now, dating of a massive volcanic eruption in Ethiopia reveals that they are much older than previously thought. And yes, Ethiopia is in Africa, where all black people are from. The remains known as Omo 1 were found in Ethiopia in the late 1960s, and scientists have been attempting to date them precisely ever since by using the chemical fingerprints of volcanic ash layers found above and below the sediments in which the fossils were found. An international team of scientists led by the University of Cambridge has reassessed the age of Omo 1. Earlier attempts to date the fossils suggest that they were less than 200,000 years old, but the new research shows that they must be older than a colossal volcanic eruption that took place 230,000 years ago. The Omo 1 remains were found in the Omo Kabish Formation in southwestern Ethiopia within the East Africa Rift Valley. The region is an area of high volcanic activity and a rich source of early human remains and artifacts such as stone tools. With the eruption of Shala volcano more than 400 kilometers away, the team dated the samples from the volcano to 230,000 years ago. Since the Omo 1 fossils were found deeper than the particular ash layer, they must be more than 230,000 years old. The researchers say that while this study shows a new minimum age for Homo sapiens in Eastern Africa, it's possible that new finds and new studies may extend the age of our species even further back in time. It's probably no coincidence that our earliest ancestors lived in such a geological active rift valley. It collected rainfall in lakes, providing fresh water and attracted animals, and served as a natural migration corridor stretching thousands of kilometers. The volcanoes provided fantastic materials to make stones, and from time to time we had to develop our cognitive skills when large eruptions transformed the landscape. Kristen Lane, head of the Cambridge laboratory where much of the work was carried out, said it's possible that new finds and new studies may extend the age of our species even further back in time. The research was supported in part by the Leverhulme Trust and the Cambridge Africa Research Fund and the Natural Environment Research Council and the National Environmental Isotope Facility. And yes, Ethiopia is in Africa, where all life began, where all black people are from. These are the facts. The top researchers in the world did the work to prove this. All these facts, they keep pouring out. So, I love you, black man. I love you, black woman. Knowledge is power. Power to the first people.
Africans were here before the Europeans. So what do you do with the heads in Mexico that you find at San Lorenzo, at Tres Zapotes? What do you do with those? All right? You ignore them. What do you do with Columbus's diary that says the Africans know a way to the west, but it goes around the doldrums, we would never survive? What do you do with that? You ignore it. What do you do with Balboa's diary that says we came upon this African village in the Isthmus? How did these Africans get here? What do you do with that? You ignore it. Why? To preserve the myth that the Europeans were here first. What do you do with all of this written literature and history that says that Abubakar II of Mali sent 200 military?
I mean, this is what we've been trying to tell y'all.
All right, racists, let's talk about the truth. There is so much discourse lately about who is native and who is indigenous, and even the nerve to bring up who is the architect of soul food. And what everyone needs to understand is that black people are the earth. Black people are the only unmutated humanity. They told you humans came from Africa like it was a migration story. But that's not the truth. The truth is, Africa is the first face of the earth. And blackness is the source of all biology. Everyone else? Genetic drift, mutational echo, survival glitches adapted to ice and exile. Let's talk origins. The black woman is the womb of the world. Forget the Eve in the garden story. That was a stolen metaphor. The real Eve lives in the woman's mitochondria. And not just any women. Melanin-rich, thick-hipped, thick-lipped, and copper-toned. Elegant, poised, literally perfect, planet-rooted black women. White women don't carry the full ancestral genome. Asian, Mexican, and Native women only carry fragments. Black women carry the total code. She doesn't reproduce diversity. She births the whole species. When small African offshoot groups migrated north, they weren't evolving. They were mutating, adapting to survival, not thriving. That's where lighter skin, narrow nostrils, reduced melanin, and behavioral changes began. All signs of environmental stress, not superiority. You don't get white by evolving. You get white by forgetting the sun. And that forgetting is not advancement. It's regression. The white genome contains 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Let me repeat, they didn't just descend from humans. They were cavemen. Black people have 0 Neanderthal admixture. That's not a joke. That's biology. Black people are the originals. Non-black people are the remix. The problem is, the remix decided to express its evil nature by attempting to erase the original track. Let's talk indigenous. The term indigenous was invented by settlers to decide who was native enough to be managed, named, and displaced. But indigenous is a political term, not a genetic one. And political terms can't overwrite blood memory. Being first on the continent does not make you first on the planet. However, black people being first on the planet means they are first on every continent. The black genome is Earth's source code. Everyone else is just running a copy of their biological operating system. The war against black genetics is a war against humanity. Melanin isn't pigment, it's the processor. It's the molecule that translates solar energy into life. Plants have it, animals have it, humans need it. Black people have the highest concentration of it, which means black people don't just live on Earth, they translate it. They are not just a race, they are the root species. Black isn't a color, it's the motherboard. Every other group, adaptations, mutations, and mistakes. This isn't supremacy, this is truth. Black people didn't come from Africa. Africa came from black people.
Living a dream, living the African dream.
I heard that you want to travel to Africa, but haven't done anything to make it happen. Now, don't tell me that you're pushing it off because you don't know how to get started. Well, listen, that's why I'm here. And because I know you, like I know you, I can tell you that all you need is the holy grail of traveling to Africa. Listen, go to panafricanlifestyle.com and get your hands on a copy of this, Africa 101. It will give you the confidence, the knowledge, the cheat code to plan your escape to Africa. Wait, did I say escape? I mean, not saying that you need to escape from anywhere. I'm just saying that you never know when you might need to just like get up and go. And after reading details about things like healthcare and citizenship, you might just want to call Africa home. Now, wait, hold on. I can see that you get excited, and I did too. But first things first, you got to get the book. And don't be asking me if you can borrow my book. I mean, I would, but I need it for planning my own trip so that we both can make our way to Africa.
Welcome back. Now, let me start with the first truth. You have heard her video. You have listened to her. And it doesn't matter where she was saying it from, but she has some very good points on her claim. And even you can hear from her voice, she's saying that she has waited for a very long time to say these things. This means like this white lady offended her that much. That's why she decided, you know what, let me go with it. And it is pure truth. Sometimes we are saying the truth. Maybe the way we are saying it, maybe it's offending, but at one way or the other, the truth shall set us free. Let's start with the first things he said, that black people were never taught hate. How many times have we seen black people treated with hate? How many times have we seen black people treated with disrespect? How many times have we seen black people treated with suspicion just simply because of the skin color? And yet, how often do we see black children raised with love, raised with survival, raised with to move with pride, even when the system is against them? How often? That black sister was right when she said that we don't teach hate in our house. And that's why when we talk about black people rising, we are not talking about revenge. We are talking about just conquering and taking our position as the leaders. And if you walk into a black household, if you walk into black houses, you are not going to see little black kids being told, don't trust white people. You are not going to see them raised to believe that they are superior to anyone else. Instead, they are taught that you have to work twice as hard so that you can be the same with others. They are being taught to be so much careful out there. They are being told to respect themselves, protect your family. And that's why at the end of the day, you see black kids more in Africa. They respect black people. They respect white people. Even when black Americans or Jamaicans are visiting Africa, we showing respect to them. We don't see them as different. This hate and this fight we are seeing is just on social media. Just triggered by some few individuals online on social media to see like we don't love each other. But in reality, black people love each other. Africans and black Americans, they love each other. Jamaicans and Africans, they love each other. It is high time we believe that black people love each other. We do love each other. And what we are teaching our children, it is not hate. It is survival. We are teaching our black children about survival. And that is love dressed as discipline. Now, try to compare that too many White House, what their children are being taught. They may not hear the word hate openly, but they are taught to be suspicion. They are taught suspicion. They are taught to fear difference. They are taught the myths of superiority. The whiteness is the standard, that whiteness is the center of the world. That's what they are being taught. That is reality. So generational racism is not an accident, family. Generational racism is a curriculum. It's being taught. It is taught at the dinner table. It is passed down as jokes, in silence, in warnings about those people. I may not come across this. I may not be living in that, maybe in America where this racism is so much. But I have learned from my people that this thing is happening. And that's why that black sister told her that you all teach hate in your household because it is the truth. Racism isn't born. Racism is taught. Even there's a white professor said that racism is not born. Racism is taught. Nobody comes into the world hating another skin color, but children absorb what their parents give them. Yeah. Why don't black people teach hate? Now, let's go deep on that. Why we don't teach hate, okay? Even though we have every reason to, but we don't do that. Think about it. For centuries, black people were enslaved, colonized, we were lynched, we were segregated, we were excluded, we were redlined, we were in... Man, a lot of things has been happening. And yet you walk into a black church, and what do we hear? Love your neighbor. Pray for your enemy. You know, this is not wickedness. This is strength. Because to carry hate is heavy, man. To carry hate for all these centuries, it is heavy. You know, to hold bitterness is a burden. And that's what I always know. Even myself, I cannot hate. I can't. Personally, on my daily basis, you wrong me, just a few minutes, and I forget that. For those who knows me, can specify on the comment section. You know, black people, even in the face of oppression, chose to keep love in their houses. They kept love alive. So when a black mother tells her child, don't you ever hate yourself, don't you ever think you are less, that's not hate. That's what we call healing. That is healing. When a black father tells his son, be careful when the police stop you, keep your hands visible, come home safe, that's not hate. That is survival tactics, the jungle move. The truth is, black people don't pass down hate because hate will have destroyed humankind. We could be having wars each and every time. Instead, black parents are passing down strength out here. They're passing down resilience. They're passing down dignity. Meanwhile, in the white household, hate has been normalized. Children grow up hearing that America belongs to them. They grow up hearing that they should fear black neighborhoods, hearing they should avoid black people. They should doubt black success, even when it's not said directly, it is implied. Now, on the second truth, what she has talked about the genes of black people, that we are the first people on the face of the earth, that we born everyone, that we give color to anyone. She said that you came from us, and black makes every color. And there's a video I've played you for a professor talking about this. Black people gave the melanin, and only black people have the wants to procreate. Now, I pause for a moment because that's not a clapback. That was science. That is history, man. It is the truth the system doesn't want to hear. Every human being on the face of the earth can trace their DNA back to Africa. That's not opinion. That is scientific fact, and it's approved. Even the white professors, the white scientists, they know that. The oldest human remains, the mitochondrial DNA, the genetic markets, they all point to Africa at the beginning. That means this: every nation, every people, every culture, all of it started with blackness. When she said that you came from me, she was not lying. She was speaking the truth. And I said maybe how she delivered the message is not the wrong way, but I think if someone could hear that, she was speaking facts. She's someone that was learned the history. She's someone that she has this pain, and she has endured it all. And she went further and said that black people makes every color. That's also the truth. Because from black gene, every shade, every variation, every complexion can emerge. But from whiteness, you can't create black. And that's why we say black is the root, because all human diversity comes out of blackness. When we talk about melanin and survival, it's not just skin color. Melanin is not just skin color. Melanin, it is life. It protects against the sun. It carries genetic power. It is the foundation of human survival. Without melanin, life could not have thrived on this planet. And that's why humanity began in Africa, not Europe, because the environment required melanin for survival. When she said only black people have the genes to procreate, she was pointing to the reality that melanin carries the genetic diversity of life itself. And that's why every race can trace itself back to black genes. But here is just one problem. If the world admitted that black is the root, then the lie of white supremacy would collapse. That's why Eugenics existed. That's why Darwin's theory were twisted. They tried to build this fake science to make it seem like black was inferior, when the truth was the opposite. Eugenics was about controlling reproduction. It was about preserving whiteness because whiteness knew it was fragile. Eugenics, it's about suppressing blackness because they know blackness was the source. And that's why she said this. That's what eugenics was about. That's what Darwin's theory was about. And you all know the truth. They know this. They know this. It's a pure truth. Because deep down, they learned. Deep down, they have hidden books of history that is talking about this. Deep down, they don't want black people to know the reality. And that's why they are rewriting history each and every day. White people ain't bad people. White people are not the enemies, but the system and the lies that was created around them is the only place they went wrong. And all of this brings me to the fear, because that woman said that you all going to extinct. You are going to extinct. And when we look at the numbers, white birth rates are declining in America. And that's why there was a movement that was going on that is saying, give birth to white kids. I talked even about that like some few months ago. White birth rates is declining in Europe, in America, across the Western world. Entire governments are panicking about population decline. Meanwhile, black birth remain steady. The reason why black birth is remaining steady and even increasing explains how life continues through melanin. That's biology, is not hate. And this fear explains why systems of oppressions remain so aggressive, because it is not just about power, it's about survival. They fear a world where whiteness is no longer dominant. Do you see the power in her words, that lady? She had power because she believed in what she was saying. She wasn't just shutting down a current, she was unlocking a truth we all need to carry. The truth is, we don't teach hate as black people. The truth is, we are not born with bitterness. The truth is, we are born with love, strength, and survival, and we are the root. We are the source of humanity. We are the original life, and that's why the world fears us, because once black people fully embrace this truth, the system can no longer hold us. That is reality. It is reality. My good family, you are here because of this truth. Thank you so much for listening. And if I've said something that is not right, if I've said something that you think I wasn't supposed to say, tell me in the comment section. It is free. I'll be reading all your comments, and I see you. And I love you so much, because what I know is that we don't teach hate. Racism is generated, but it does not come from us. Number two, we are the source. Black is the root, the origin, the foundation of humanity. And that's why I always say, as black people, rule number one, love yourself. Because if you love yourself, boom. So, Grand Rising Kings and Queens, I love you so much. I honor you, and I thank you for walking the journey of truth with me. Stay proud, stay strong, and remember, the world came from you.